Toastmaster of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My daughter, she is now 9 months old. Her name is Sarah. But when she was 4 months old, I used to hold her. And I looked at her big blue eyes. Okay, black. Black. I know, in Saudi Arabia, we really do not have colorful eyes. We only have one option, black. So I used to look at her eyes, and I used to say, I want you to be the best. And I repeat that over and over again. Be the best, be the best, be the best. This called positive affirmations. It really talks to the subconscious mind and it trains it to accept it, to work so hard only to be the best. Brian Tracy, the motivational speaker, said, these are affirmations, if you repeat them over and over, the subconscious mind will accept them as a reality. So many successful and famous people, they do the same thing. For example, Muhammad Ali, he usually said, or he used to say, I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am the greatest, until he became really the greatest. This story happened with me and my daughter here in Saudi Arabia. But what happened in Armenia is a completely different story. Armenia, located in the far west of Russia, a farmer called Samuel, instead of telling his son, you need to be the best, or you need to be successful, he used to look at his blue eyes. Now this is true, because in Armenia they have blue eyes. He used to look at his blue eyes and holding his shoulder, and he would say, no matter what happened, I'll be always, always there for you, and I'll never leave you alone. And he repeats this sentence every single day. 7th of December 1988, a massive earthquake destroyed the northwest of Armenia. It killed in 41 seconds more than 25,000 people. It happened 11 a.m. in the morning, where all students were in their schools. Samuel, he was at home, and he rushed immediately toward his son's schools. And while he was going, he saw many dead bodies lying in the street, and some of the buildings were collapsed, and dust were everywhere, and people were screaming for help. But all what he had in his mind is just to save his son. So he ran for so long, or maybe he thought he was running for so long, until he reached his son. When he reached his son's school, it was completely destroyed. It was nothing but a pile of rubble. He saw many parents crying around the collapsed school, waiting for the police to help them. What would you do if you were Samuel? This is a very tough question, because Samuel immediately remembered his promise to his son, I will never leave you alone, and I will be there when you need me. And this is the time when his son really needed him. So he immediately went to the school and determined the location of his son's classroom in the school itself. And he decided it was in the back left corner of the school. And then he started digging and removing stones and heavy beams. But so many parents, they felt so sorry for him. And they went to him and to tell him, it's too late. You are going to hurt yourself. And the police are coming to help us to do that. And every time he wanted to stop, he remembered his promise to his son. He will never leave him alone. Then he continued to dig. And every time he removed a stone, he felt closer to his son. But for how long he continued to dig? 6 hours? No. 12 hours? No. 24 hours? No. The whole media covered this miracle because this simple man did for his son for 38 8 hours because he trained his subconscious mind, not his son's subconscious mind, that he will never leave him alone. And in the 38th hour, where most of the parents started to place flowers and pictures of their children in the collapsed building, he removed a very heavy stone and he found a big hole in it. And then he screamed, Armand! Armand! But he heard nothing except silence. Then he knew that it is really too late. But then he heard a very familiar voice. It was his son. Dad, I'm here, Dad. I knew that you will show up. I told my classmates that you will show up and you will never leave me alone. And the dad was so excited. He put his hand and he said, son, come on, let's get out of here. But his son answered him. You will be surprised of his answer. Because he refused to go out. And he said, no, I'm not going out. Let other kids go out first. Because I know you will get me out no matter what. 200 students were killed in that school. Only 14 of them survived. Because of one single man who has really a faith in his son. And this comes from the amount of love. Instead of telling him, you need to be successful, you need to be the best, he showed him the love and that he will protect him. This story changed my life. And now my 9-month-old daughter, instead of telling her, I said, darling, I really do not care if you are the very best one or not. I really do not care if you are the greatest or not, like Muhammad. I replied, and actually, I really do not want you to be the greatest because I will be in trouble. But instead, I would tell her, no matter what, I will never leave you alone. And I will be the one who will always, always love you. Ladies and gentlemen, the next time you are with your beloved one, instead of telling them you need to be the best, or instead of telling them what to do in their future, tell them what you can do for them. Let us master.